On the colony world of Virx9, the first rule was simple: never step between predator young. The second rule was even simpler: if you value your life, never touch them. Doctor Alina Reyes had read both rules and signed all the waivers. She had listened as the towering Virexi Alpha explained that their cubs were born with instincts sharper than blades. And yet, she stepped forward anyway. The Virexi were apex predators, 8 feet tall, armored hides like polished obsidian, and double rows of serrated teeth. Even their children were dangerous. The human colony had a fragile alliance with them, a trust that hung between the species like glass. And today, that glass was about to shatter. Two Virexi cubs were fighting in the central courtyard. This wasn't play. This was real. Claws locked, teeth snapping, deep growls vibrating the ground. One cub had already drawn blood from the other's shoulder. The surrounding Virexi adults formed a wide circle. But they didn't interfere. For them, strength decided dominance. And interrupting a fight was dishonor. The Alpha stood at the edge, his golden eyes watching. But Alina saw something different. She saw children. One cub slit on its own blood and slammed into a stone pillar. The other lunged for its throat. That was enough. She moved. Gasps rippled through the humans behind the barrier. The Virexi stiffened. The Alpha's pupils narrowed. The human doctor walked straight into the ring of predators. The attacking cub didn't even see her coming. Alina stepped between them. One hand caught a clawed wrist mid-swipe. The other pressed against the chest of the second cub. She didn't shove. She didn't strike. She simply held. Enough, she said. The word wasn't loud, but her calm, absolute tone cut deeper than a roar. The cub she held twisted with enough strength to snap steel, but Alina's boots dug into the stone. Her arm didn't move. The courtyard fell silent. The Alpha took one step forward. The cub snarled and lunged again. This time, Alina moved faster. Her hand shifted from its chest to its throat, not squeezing, but applying precise pressure just below the jaw hinge. The cub froze instantly. It was a predator's off switch. Every Virexi adult understood. In one terrible, silent realization, they all saw it. She could break the neck. Her fingers were positioned perfectly. A slight rotation, a sharp motion, and the cub would die before it hit the ground. But she didn't. Instead, she leaned closer to the trembling creature and whispered, "You're stronger than this." The cub's growl faltered. The second one tried to circle her, but without looking, Alina extended her leg and blocked it, redirecting its momentum until it stumbled back. She didn't hurt them. She restrained them completely. The Alpha approached, his steps heavy enough to crack the stone. "You risk death," he rumbled. Alina didn't release the cub, but she looked up calmly. "No," she said. "I risk letting children kill each other." The Alpha's gaze shifted to her hands, still at the vulnerable point. "You knew," he said quietly. "Yes, you could have slain my offspring." "Yes. Why did you not?" Alina finally released the pressure, and the young predator staggered back. "Unharmed, because power is not for proving," she replied. "It's for protecting." The courtyard was frozen. The Virexi believed violence established order. But this small human had shown a different kind of strength. Not louder, not bloodier, controlled. The Alpha crouched to examine his cub's neck. No fractures, only light pressure marks. Precise. Surgical. He rose again, towering over Alina. "You studied our anatomy." "I study all my patients," she said. "You prepared to kill my child. I prepared to stop them." A long silence stretched. Then, the Alpha lowered his head, not in submission, but in acknowledgement. "The humans hide fangs beneath soft skin," he said. "You are not weak." Alina smiled faintly. "Neither are you." The injured cub whimpered, and Alina immediately knelt beside it. "Let me see that shoulder." The cub hesitated, then, astonishingly, allowed her to touch the wound. She cleaned it, applied a sealant gel, her movements practiced and calm. The second cub watched her hands, not with fear, but with curiosity. The alpha observed everything. You restrained without harm, he said. That's the point. In our ways, dominance requires injury. In ours, Alina replied, finishing the bandage. The strongest person in the room is the one who doesn't need to prove it. The alpha turned to the other Virexi. The human could have ended a bloodline, he announced. She did not. She stood between predators and lived. Remember this. The cub she had restrained stepped forward and did something that stunned every Virexi present. It pressed its forehead briefly against her arm. A sign of trust. The alpha exhaled slowly. You separated them with a hand, he said, but you divided instinct from violence. Alina chuckled. Let's not make it poetic. They just needed a timeout. The alpha's rumble this time almost sounded like amusement. Human, he said, if you wished, you could break a neck. Yes, and yet you heal. Yes, the alpha straightened to his full height. Then perhaps, he said, your species is more dangerous than we believed. Alina tilted her head. Only when we have to be. The fragile glass between their species did not shatter that day. It strengthened, because the Virexi learned something critical. Humans were not prey, they were not weak, and when a human stepped between predators, it wasn't recklessness, it was a choice made
You're
by a
safe
species
here, I
that understood
promise.
exactly
It
how much
hurts.
damage
I know.
they could
I'll
do and
help you.
chose not to. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more.